we have a statement from Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas. I'm going to read the statement, then I'm going to read into the statement, then I'm going to read into how marriages end publicly, whether it's a celebrity or in real life, that will give you some hints as to what's really going on there. In other words, who you can help in real life when there's an actual divorce going on. I'm going to read it next to my flowers because flowers are beautiful and divorce is not oftentimes. Okay. Statement from the two of us. After 4 wonderful years of marriage, we have mutually decided to amicably end our marriage. There are many speculative narratives as to why, but truly this is a united decision, and we sincerely hope that everyone can respect our wishes for privacy for us and our children. As someone who writes statements like this, similar to this, for a living, I often can tell when more than one hand is in the pot here. Typically, one person will author a statement and then they'll hand it off, and then other people will start to redline that statement. This statement feels like a redline statement. Usually the original author, like when I do this, they'll write it with language and using a tone for strategic purposes. Like, we're here and we want to get here. And so you can write to do that. There's a way to do that. But when other people get involved, they don't know your strategy and your tone, and things get lost and a little muddled. This statement feels like it's redlined, and it shouldn't be surprising at all because it's a divorce statement. So it probably went back and forth. So that writer probably became the intermediary. All right. And the reason why I think that is I'm looking at some of the language. Like, the word marriage is in here twice in the first sentence. Whenever I see the word amicably in a statement, not all times, but sometimes, it usually indicates it's not so amicable. Also, there are many speculative narratives. I can imagine like a Sophie or team, someone on the Sophie Turner team saying, we need to address all the stories that have been put out there. So I want that in there. And some wordsmith came up with speculative narratives. Okay, Instagram. Great choice for this type of a message. It's like the new Notes app, right? White background, black, easy to read, good, not stories, grid. It's here for good. It may go away, but it's here for good now. Can be embedded in news stories and digital news stories. Also, this statement after, oh my goodness, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We've had like 5 days of this, right? And there were back and forths and a lot of things happening on one side. I've been talking a lot about the media moves. Media moves in a celebrity divorce are not that much different than real life divorce. And this is what I mean. We don't know what happened in this marriage, but if I were to speculate, which I have, this is my third in my trio, my triad, my troika of posts, that I think Joe Jonas is the one who's spinning a bit. Okay. This was announced on Friday of Labor Day weekend. I'm sorry, but any news that comes out on a Friday, I have a question mark. There's an asterisk next to it. Also, there's so many narratives moving around, and you notice in this last day, all of a sudden there's like all this anti-Sophie stuff that's happening there. So that tells me not only are we seeing PR spin, but we're actually seeing almost like a mental spin. And that's usually the indication, whether it's celebrity or real life divorce, when we can point the finger as to who's causing this dissolution of marriage. Doesn't mean that's the person who left, but it could be the person who's caused it. So in real life, people want to know, like, why do we care about this? This is why you care, especially for you young people. You haven't gone through divorce yet. Maybe your parents have been divorced, but your friends haven't done it yet. But look for the person who's spinning. So they're the ones telling the stories. They're the ones whose lives are just spinning. So they might look different. They might act different. Like, their body looks completely different. They're wearing completely different clothes. They're dating people you'd never expect them to date. Their lifestyle's totally different. They no longer have a job, or they have a completely different job. Like, they have a million stories as to why the marriage ended. All the reasons are blaming the other person. Look for the silent party, and that's the person who needed to get out of the marriage. Doesn't mean that they ended it, but it means they're likely the one who was suffering in that marriage, or they're the ones who were putting up with something. That's what I find in life and in celebrity, and even on the inside when I do this. The people who remain silent, and even in my work, even if it has nothing to do with divorce, but if I'm working with clients and they are content, like if I can talk them into not saying anything, and they're okay with that, that tells me that they are more likely honest about it because they're sitting on truth. People who lie or spin or have to put all these narratives out there are the ones, they have to do it because they don't like the truth. They don't like the truth. The silent, they can sit in the truth because the truth is very, very loud.